Why, Vinnie? Why? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information I have in the description box and the comment section. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And before I get started, check out my YouTube partner BK WorldTube, where it's the Black Netflix. You get everything from Love and Hip Hop, and also this show that I'm reviewing tonight, The Haves and the Have-Nots. So go over there and check out BK WorldTube today. Now this is The Haves and the Have-Nots Season 8 Episode 16, and the name of this episode is Counting the Cost. Man, I was so pissed when this episode came on, because I was hoping that finally we were gonna end Wyatt, but then knowing Tyler Perry, that wasn't gonna happen. So I'm definitely gonna talk about that. So let's begin this review. First, I'm going to talk about Candace and Benny. Candace and Benny are staying at the Case Regency Hotel. Benny's still talking about how expensive everything is. He also called a realtor named Rihanna. And we actually met this character already, and I'm definitely going to mention her later. But let's just say he decides to go meet with the realtor, and while he leaves, Candace calls Mitch to come over. And I must say, Candace and Mitch have great chemistry with each other. Even though they dated in the past, he's always had a place in his heart for Candace. So to see them go back and forth in this scene was everything. And she talks about Charles, and saying that that she still has feelings for him, but she said that I thought we were gonna go through the thick and thin, but once the thick came about, he got me out of there. But then Mitch let her know that, look, he's the president-elect. I don't think he turned off his feelings for you. He had a choice to make, and he made it. But at the end of the day, he probably still has feelings for her too, which we all know. And it's a possibility that she's pregnant with Charles's child. So, it was a good, moment between Candace and Mitch. And I really love Mitch even more because Mitch treats Candace like a lady. He really does have a lot of respect for her, and he does have a place in his heart for her. But then they also talk about Benny, and he remember the last episode he gave Benny some false information to throw him off Derek, but Candace is feeling that something ain't right with Benny, and I don't know what he's gonna do. But Mitch lets her know that he's gonna look out for Benny, and that was the end of that. Then we get this scene with the damn dry drunk Conley. Soon as we see the scene, Conley is pouring him a drink. Charles ain't even there, or probably doing something, but he's not there. And Conley just helping himself to the liquor cabinet. I'm like, this drunk bitch. But shout out to Jeffrey Owens. I'm really loving him in this role because Conley definitely got some tricks up his sleeve. Because we see he has a back and forth with Landon, and Landon's going to be the new press secretary, and Conley, who's now a senator, is about to become the new attorney general, which is why he went over there and talked all that big shit to Kyle. But all of a sudden we see Conley starts digging at Landon, saying that, yeah, you're with him a lot. You really care about him. He's like, yeah, I care about my job, and he's an important guy. He's like, yeah, but you go over and beyond your Call of Duty, don't you? And I'm like, because everybody knows that Landon is smitten with Charles, because remember, we saw a few seasons ago when one of his other people on his team was like telling Charles that Landon was smitten with him. Conley is literally doing that, but throwing shade. you know. And then Conley starts bringing up Candace, and he was like, I know you're cleaning up her information in the press, you know, do you think he should call her? And Landon is kind of thrown off. He keeps saying well and everything, and then Conley's like, I'm gonna need you to stop saying well, bruh. And he's like, I'm just not comfortable talking about this. He was like, okay, fine. So do you think he should call her? And he's like, but you just said, he like, just answer the question, boy. I was like, oh, really, Conley? Oh, that liquor really is turning up your asshole, huh? Like, he just got real buck with Landon in that scene. And Landon was like, well, I think it would be up to him. He was like, no, it wouldn't be wise for him to call her. Because at first then Conley was like, maybe I should give her a call. And he was like, I don't think that would be wise. And he was like, really? You don't know him. I trained him when he was my student years ago. You don't know him like I know him. And Landon bucked up his chest and he's like, well, he's no longer a college student. He's the president-elect. And if you were wise, I would think you would think before you make that move. And I was like, okay, Landon, that's what's up. And he was like, okay, yeah, he should keep you around. You're smart. He's like, yeah, I know. I gotta go. And I was like, that's what's up, Landon. Landon wasn't here for that shit, but we can definitely see that Conley definitely has a sinister plan. And I think in due time we're gonna find that out. But wouldn't it be funny if he is actually Oliver's father, and that they're planning to screw they're planning to screw up Charles so that he can be the president-elect himself. So we just gotta keep watching. Next, I'm going to talk about Veronica and Samuel. Samuel's still cleaning the pool. Remember, she sent Lindsay out, in her clothes and driving her car, to handle some errands. Mainly making, pretty much disguising Lindsay as her on the street in case she get knocked off. So, Veronica don't waste no time. Now that she got the wife out the house, she calls Samuel in. And honey, she is openly throwing herself onto him, and he was like, I'm a little sweaty and everything, and she was like, that's okay, I like sweat, and she's like, you're so handsome and tall, and he was like, thank you, and she's like, so are you happily married? And he was like, yes, I'm happily married. And she's like, now I know you lying because nobody's happily married. He's like, well, actually I am. And she says that, well, that's a shame because there's enough of you to go around. And I'm like, damn, Veronica, the man just got there and you already trying to jump in his jeans. And he was still kind of playing it smart, like, okay, I don't cheat on my wife, I actually love her. I'm like, bruh, the fact that your wife is very overprotective of you, you've definitely cheated on her, bruh. And he looked like the type that likes to be sneaky and get around. So, they go back and forth and everything, and eventually he decides to go back to the pool to finish working. And, she kept, trying to throw those jabs like, well, don't you want this? Don't you want success? And, don't you want money? And, just really doing everything she can to see if she can bait him. But then as soon as he leaves, she just starts giving that look like, oh, I'm going to get you, boy. I'm going to have you drinking. I'm going to have you cussing. I'm going to have you screwing. I'm going to have you doing everything under the sun. All the things that you said you would never do. And I'm like, you kind of dumb, but you're pretty. And I'm like, damn, Veronica, who haven't you screwed? I mean, do you know the muffin man who lives on Drury Lane? Just saying. Let's keep it moving. Veronica was doing the most. Then, talking about another crazy situation, Jeffrey's in the shower, and we see some random guy come into Madison's apartment and strips down butt-ball naked, and then Jeffrey comes out of the shower with a towel wrapped around him, and I'm like, Jeffrey, baby! But then Kobe looked good too, and we come to find out the guy's name that entered into Madison's apartment is Kobe. His name is Kobe. He's Madison's ex-boyfriend, but they now have become friends with benefits. So, and then like Kobe, is very forward. I mean, he starts flirting with Jeffrey. He's like, are you an escort? Or, matter of fact, you look like some stripper named Leo. He's like, well, that's not me. And he tells Jeffrey that him and Madison dated for a year, and they decided they wanted different things. So now they're friends with benefits. And he is like literally flirting with Jeffrey, and he's like, I know you got a fat ass under that towel. And I was just like, whoa, bro, like, hey, ain't no shame in Kobe's game. And then Jeffrey lets Kobe know that he's going on a lunch date with Madison, and here come the messy queen shit where Kobe's like, well, how about we go meet him together? And Jeffrey, not knowing how these queens are, decide, okay, sure. No, he gonna go there and blow up the spot, because I just got this feeling Kobe's on some bullshit. So I'm like, wow. And then Jeffrey goes to get dressed, and he's like, do you need any help? Your skin is just like honey. I'm like, it's funny because Madison said the same damn thing, child. So I'm like, shoot, the way Kobe working it, he gonna probably try to get to both of y'all ashes and y'all have a threesome. But then again, it'll be a good experience for Jeffrey, because Jeffrey has been so malnourished, due to the fact of growing up with his homophobic mom. So this could be a good opportunity, for Jeffrey to expand his sexual horizons. But Kobe looked like he a messy bitch, so we just gotta keep watching with that. So then we get the scene with, David goes to see Jim in the hospital. He gives him the password to locate the car, and Jim is an asshole, because Jim gets on the phone and he sees the password written down, and he was like, oh yeah, the password is thank you Jesus. I'm like, you are so messed up, Jim. You going straight to hell. Oh man, that had me cracking up. So I'm like, Jim's a mess. And they come to find out that the car is actually located at 2343 Western, which is the Iron Bar. So immediately Jim is like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go save my son. My son's in danger. Like, would Wyatt be that stupid to go to the Iron Bar? Yes, Jim, he would. Your son ain't too bright, which is why I wanted his ass gone. But anyway, David decides that he's gonna go look into Wyatt, and that he's gonna find out what's going on with that. Okay. Oh yes, and next I'm going to talk about this scene between Tanner and Justin. In this scene, we clearly see why Justin is so screwed up, because Tanner is a homophobic bully, and he's been bullying him ever since he was a child. And he was talking about, didn't I tell you not to play with your cousins? And he was like, shut the fuck up, like slapping him, punking him or whatever. It's like, you up there acting like a little girl playing those pom-poms. When dad died, I became the man in the family, but you wanted to run around acting like a little girl. And then come to find out, he forced Justin at the age of 6 to have sex with a 15-year-old girl. And he was saying that, and then like Tanner's like, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what we do as men. I had my first time was at 6 years old. Dude, that's not normal. And as a matter of fact, that's sick. You're 6 years old having sex with a teenager? Like, who the fuck does that? But then he's saying that, and then like Justin's like, we're not the same. And he's like, yes, we are the same, Tanner. And Tanner's like, we are the same, and I'm gonna see to it that we're gonna get you together and we're gonna straighten you out. I'm like, bruh, your sexuality is nothing to straighten out. But we just see the homophobia as well as the stalking runs deep in this family, and it makes sense as to why Justin is the way he is, because that's why he's still denying that he's gay and all of that, because he's been bullied his entire life by his older brother. And he literally has been living a life that he didn't choose. He pretty much has been living a life that he was forced to have. But not only is he gay, he also likes black men. And we can definitely tell, with his mother, that his mother definitely is racist. And Tanner ain't that far behind. So racism and homophobia runs in his family. So here it is, he's denied who he is, but also is denying the fact that he likes black men. But when he got with Jeffrey rocked his world. So, there's going to be a lot more with that. Then we also get a scene with Hannah and Marty. And we actually see in this scene, Hannah and Marty actually have a good rapport with each other. And Marty is helping her to learn the financial management of the Cryer estate. And he's trying to keep her up to par, and he lets her know that the accountants, them dumbass accountants we met in the beginning of the season, John and Ron, they want to meet with her, and that they're going to meet up later on that evening. But I think Marty is going to help her to be on point when dealing with their asses, because Marty knows that the two of them ain't up to no good. And I think he does have a level of respect for Hannah because he knows of her closeness with Catherine. But then we see Catherine up in jail. We see Catherine is talking to Kendrick, the guy that went to school with Amanda. He's new on the force, and he brought her a sandwich, and he lets her know about Wyatt, that he's okay, he's in the hospital, but there's a problem. He's actually escaped, and that your home was broken into. And she was like, "Oh, I know it was him." And then she pretty much says, "Can I make a phone call?" And Kendrick is like, "Look, I can't do that. I just got this job. I'm not trying to lose my job by breaking the rules." But then she was like, "Well, why don't you make a phone call for me?" And they pretty much go back and forth with that, but he lets her know, like, "Look, I can't." And then we see that the chief of police comes in, Chief Shepard, and we see that Chief Shepard is a piece of shit, and we really find out that, yeah, he's working for Mama Rose, because the chief of police is what got Mama Rose out. And then I also forgot to mention that when Jim tried to reach Mama Rose, her phone was disconnected, and Jim said, like, "Wow, she has had this same number for the past 30 years. What's going on?" They had no idea that Mama Rose is no longer running the Malone gang. Now it's in the hands of Vinnie. So pretty much Chief Shepard tells Catherine, "What you gonna do about paying that $1 million?" And she was like, "Oh, you working for that bitch, huh?" And he was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, but somebody kind of tapped on my shoulder and was like, yeah, that you pissed the Malones off and they want $1 million or your son is dead. As a matter of fact, your son's with him right now." And she's like, "You're lying." And then she was like, "You know what? You tell that bitch she's not getting a dime from me." And then she was saying, "I want more, I want a comfortable bed to sleep in." And she was like, "Boo-boo, you're in jail. This is not a motel." And I was like, oh, he's really feeling himself. But then Catherine was like, "Oh, trust, I will get even." And he was like, I'll go and try to make you more comfortable." So he walks away and gets on the phone and says, "She said no." So that was the end of that. Now, from the last episode, we saw that Vinnie shot the gun, and I was hoping he would kill Wyatt's ass, because I'm getting sick of this crazy ass junkie. But Tyler Perry style, Wyatt's not dead. He just shot and Wyatt ducked. And he literally goes in on Sandy, calling Sandy a wimp, that you a punk. How can you be a Malone and you afraid to pop a gun? Like, you can't be Malone and be afraid to shoot a gun. And he's still trying to get Sandy to shoot, and Sandy won't. So he pretty much tells Sandy to get the hell out of there or whatever. And then we see that Vinnie has a conversation with Wyatt, and he was like, the only thing that's keeping you alive is that my mother wants $1 million for you, but me, I want blood. Because if it's up to me, I would kill your ass right now. So they start talking, and he was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Huh? Like, why are you doing this shit? Like, you were given everything, and you piss it all away. Like, what made you like this? Well, what actually made him like that is that he was actually touched by his priest, and that was never dealt with. So he's psychologically damaged, and I think that's what's making him get into drugs even more, because he's trying to. And then on top of it, he was raped in prison too. So, and then Justin was about to make him get on his knees and do some slurping for some for that powder, because even Vinnie was like, have you ever had to go down on somebody for some drugs? And like, Wyatt was like, no. He's like, yes, you have. You got the lips for it. I was like, oh, really? I was like, Vinnie was going in. And then he was like, what the hell happened to you? Like, what made you like this? And Wyatt begins to tell the story about, because he was saying that he slit his wrist. He says, I slit my wrist, when I was in jail, so that they would take me to the hospital so I can get some meds. I'm like, so that whole damn you killing yourself was only a plea to get your ass out of there. Wyatt is just like his father, just a scandalous asshole. Like, it's all about getting what he wants. And then Vinnie was like, well, why did you go to jail? He's like, because I tried to shoot my parents. And he was like, man, I ought to kill you right now. Really? You tried to kill your parents? Really? And she was like, well, they better pay that $1 million if you. And then he's like, well, my mom, she's not gonna give you that money. She doesn't care. And then all of a sudden, Wyatt was about to get emotional. He's like, bro, do I look like a therapist for you? Don't cry. Do not cry. Then we see later on, Sandy's in the bar getting drunk because Sandy got punked yet again, because Sandy's a wankster. A straight up wankster bitch. David comes in there, and then all of a sudden he want to puff his chest out. We're closed. You need to leave. Get out of here. And David was like, I'm here to find Wyatt Quire. His car's outside. Has he been here? He's like, look, I've already told you to leave. Guys, get him out of here. Get out of here now and don't come back. And the guys escort David out. And I'm like, oh, so you got bucked because those guys were there. Because if you was by yourself, you wouldn't have been talking all that shit, because David would have knocked you on your back. So, and then, Vinnie comes out there and talks to Sandy, and they go back and forth. And Vinnie was like, dude, the only person that you've ever punked has been that girl. And I'm about to get to that in a second, because we see her in this episode. And he was saying that, you need to, now that Mama Rose is now stepped down and I'm the head, I'm not going to have any bullshit. I don't need no punks on my team, and I'm damn sure not going to let this gang go to the, go to the Mexicans or the blacks. So I'm like, oh yeah. So that racism is very deep with Vinnie, and we definitely saw that when he first met Benny. And he was like, I'm gonna need you to step your game up, and I'm gonna need you to handle your business. And he was saying the fact that Mama Rose is gone, and that Mitch doesn't want to be in the family business, you're all that's left. And if anything, you need to be trying to have kids. I got 5 kids. You and Mitch don't have any. And if anything, you need to find out why that girl aborted your baby. I was like, whoa. So Vinnie know a lot that's going on with Sandy. And Sandy's like, I didn't know she was going to do that. He's like, well, you need to get on top of that. And you need to step your game up if you really want to be Malone. You need to stand true to what the Malone name is all about. And I'm like, Sandy's ass ain't gonna do that shit, because Sandy is a straight up bitch. He's all bark and no bite. So then we see the realtor, whose name is Rihanna, and that's the same girl that came there to serve to serve Sandy that restraining order. So that's Sandy's girl, and she's on the phone like, stop it, would you please just stop it, I'm at work. Sandy's still punking this girl. So I'm like, so it seemed to me the only person that Sandy knows how to punk is a woman. Bitch ass. And she gets off the phone, and finally Benny comes in, and we find out that's who Benny was talking to on the phone. And Benny immediately notices that something's off about her, but she says it's allergies, because she's been crying and everything. And she says she gives him some listings and everything, And all of a sudden, while she steps away, Benny gets a call from Veronica. And Veronica's like, oh, I got some information for you, about that guy Derek. He was in jail in Savannah, and you also want to know if he's the one that raped your mommy, right? And he's like, how the hell would you know that? She's like, honey, I'm Veronica. I know everything. And all of a sudden he's like, give me his address. Where's his address? Bitch, don't play with me. Where's his address? And then all of a sudden she hangs up on him. He's like, Veronica, where's his address? I was like, oh shit. So now that's gonna put him at odds with Mitch because Mitch gave him some false information. And we see in the next episode he confronts Derek. I wanted to see how that's gonna go out because he's been giving Derek the blues since the beginning. And the thing about it, I think Derek gonna give Benny a run for his money. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, get down in those comments and let me know. Definitely give me your thoughts on this episode. So until next time, everybody, take care.